Welcome back to Grid Drop. Today I'm back with another F1 tips video where my goal is to help you get faster on F123. Today we're going to cover the basics of ABS or anti-lock braking system and how to drive with this assist disabled. If you're new to the channel, please feel free to subscribe, leave a like or comment if you learned anything from this. It'll really help me out. And if you have any questions by the end of this video, feel free to leave a comment and I'll do my best to help. That being said, let's just get right into it. So what is ABS, or an anti-lock braking system? It's an assist designed to keep you from locking up your wheels under heavy braking. When ABS is enabled and entering a heavy braking zone, the car senses which wheel is about to lock up and it relieves the brake pressure in that wheel. So how does turning off this assist make you faster? While ABS does limit lockups, it takes control away from the driver. Under heavy braking, a driver without ABS is able to sense more of the car's feeling and understand when it's about to lock up. Once you can understand how to apply the brakes effectively, disabling ABS will allow you to brake much later, as you're able to have more control over brake input. In F1, braking as late as possible is crucial to setting fast lap times. So, how do you learn to drive without ABS? Firstly, you need to adjust your brake balance. I personally recommend setting it to around 54 to 56% when you're first learning. This will allow you to feel lockups coming, but also give you enough forgiveness to not lock too easily or spin the car under braking. After your brake balance is adjusted, enter a time trial and just practice your brake input. Try practicing at Monza, Baku, Spa, or any other tracks with heavy braking zones. Using the racing line is helpful for this, as you're not focused on the braking point, more so the actual act of braking. Once you reach the braking point, jam the brakes as hard as you can, really make a point of hitting 100% brake pressure. After reaching 100%, you want to slowly remove pressure from the brakes. Take it down to 75, 50, then 25% pressure. Once you're this low, the car should be stopped effectively enough to go through the corner. Here are a few examples. This is going to take some time, and a lot of this is trial and error, but the most important thing to do is keep practicing on time trials and learning how the car behaves after different brake inputs. Another big difference you'll notice when turning off ABS is steering input. Your wheels must be straight when entering a braking zone. If your wheels are not straight, it's very easy to lock up. Most braking zones are straight, however there are some tricky ones. For example, turn 10 at Bahrain is a left-handed braking zone. If you enter while following the racing line, it's likely that you'll lock up and skid off the track. I'm going to show you two examples of braking and steering input. For the first, I'm going to jam the brakes to 100%, slowly let up the pressure, and take the ideal racing line. Clearly, this does not work. For zones like this, you need to keep the wheels straight and employ a much smoother braking method. Here's an example of how I normally take turn 10. When I approach the turn, pay attention to my steering input on the line versus the preferred line. Watch how I cut more of the left curb in order to keep the car straight under braking. Along with this, take a look at the braking pattern. Instead of jamming the brakes to 100%, it's a much slower, smoother brake input. This allows me to get through the corner without locking up, without skidding off the track, and without losing too much time. Corners like this one are tricky, but it's important to understand that not every single braking zone should be taken with full brake pressure. Practice doing laps around Bahrain. Turn 1 and 4 are heavy braking zones, and turn 9 and 10 test your smoothness under braking. The last thing you're going to struggle with is understanding how long the brake should be put at 100% pressure. Too little time at 100% and you won't slow down the car enough. Too much time at 100% and you'll lock up. Ideally, you want to be at full brake pressure as long as you can, right before the car locks up. This maximizes braking and allows you to brake as late as you possibly can. To do this, you can practice learning how the car feels. Firstly, when entering heavy braking zones, pay attention to the force feedback in your wheel. What you'll notice is that upon locking up, a lot of the force feedback will loosen. It's important to recognize this feeling and apply it to all of your heavy braking zones. Practice heavy braking and really pay attention to that feeling where you think the car will lock up. After a little while, you'll start to notice visual cues on screen and physical cues in your force feedback that tell you this information. This is going to take the most practice out of everything. You will not be able to magically brake perfectly after watching this video, but there are a lot of important things to keep in mind. So what did we learn during this video? Adjust your brake balance to a more forgiving one. Use full brake pressure in heavy braking zones, and then slowly let off of that pressure. Less steering input is important when braking. Smoother braking is necessary in non-heavy braking zones. And pay attention to the feeling where the car will lock up by using force feedback. If you have any questions or need another tip about braking, feel free to leave a comment and I'll do my best to help. If you learned anything or just enjoyed the video, leave a like or subscribe to let me know. And with that, I hope this video helped you improve. If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.